Now for a review of what's making the headlines in the papers this morning, let's bring in Arise analyst Dr. Constance Ikwoku. Good morning, Dr. Constance.
Good morning to you, Yolanda. Good to see you this morning.
Likewise.
How was your weekend?
It was good. It was restful.
Yeah, me too. Very refreshing this morning, actually. And Charles, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Constance.
You're coordinating with Yolanda. Green shirt, green dress.
We said this earlier.
Because they say men see colors, women see shades.
No, I see everything.
I like that.
Anyway, you look fantastic this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And Dr. Modibo himself, he's looking dapper.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
He's getting the memo.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, to look at the papers with us this morning, I've already mentioned him, Dr. Ibrahim Modibo. He is a media executive and analyst. Hello there and welcome to the program. We'll begin with This Day. In This Day newspaper, it leads with strong economic stories this morning. We'll start with Lagos, which is ahead of the rest of the nation with 58.8% of electronic money transfer. In June, revenue hits 183.7 billion naira in H1. And this is followed by the Nigeria Export Promotion Council and APC, which tells us here that Nigeria's non-oil exports rose 19.5% and hit $3.22 billion in H1 2025. And then in the power sector, to cut costs, FG launches a 100 billion naira initiative to power public institutions with solar energy. By the way, government institutions have a poor record of paying their electricity bills. So now the National Public Sector Solarization Initiative is being launched. And finally, Niger State government inaugurates largest shea butter plant in Africa. This 30,000 metric ton per year plant was established by a private company funded by Nexim Bank. For context, Nigeria accounts for 60% of global shea nut production, but did not have large-scale industrial processing until now. So this plan, therefore, is a game-breaking move. Dr. Modibo, which story stands out to you first? And of course, I'd like you to take your ideas or perspectives on the rest of the stories.
Thank you very much, Dr. Constance. First and foremost, let me commend and congratulate the Duke, High Chief Nduku Egbegwena, for organizing that wonderful essay competition, trying to bring out intellectualism, trying to honor intellectualism within the media profession and by extension, the academics. I just hope and pray that the government will also look at our girls that have made Nigeria proud in the international English competition, winning the World Cup. Having stated that, the most pronounced stories that I look at is that of the electronic transfer, levy that is coming from Lagos. Lagos being the heartbeat of Nigeria's economic centerpiece, has been able to gather over 17.7 billion from these electronic transfers. And looking at the hub of trade and commerce, I'm not surprised at all that Lagos is doing very well. It got over 50 or 58% of all the revenue, with FCT coming far distant second with only 1 billion, and other states 800 or something, 700 or something. So I think it's a welcome development. It's looking towards non-oil export, and also it's very, very central and germane to our economic prosperity in this country. And secondly, the issue of Niger State too is as a hub for this shea butter, where a company has just been established that will produce about 300,000 metric tons, of shea butter, with a monthly shea butter of about production of about 400 metric tons. I think it's a welcome development. I think Nigeria is progressing when we look at the economy from the viewpoint of looking beyond the confines of oil. So I think it's a welcome development, and Nigeria is on the threshold of prosperity and progress in the economy if we build bridges across streams and rivers.
Definitely, step by step. The watchword maybe is consistency. It has to be consistent over the years. To be able to reach that crescendo that many people are hoping for. we always use the word that Nigeria has potential. We haven't seen that potential yet materialized. But thank you, Dr. Modibo, for that perspective on those stories. Let's look at the Punch newspaper. States hit by 68% spike in foreign debt payments. Lagos leads states with the highest debt obligations, followed by Rivers, Kaduna, Ogun, and Edo State. The size of debt in Lagos reflects large-scale infrastructure projects over the years. There's also the weak exchange rate that has doubled, if not tripled, the cost of debt, especially wise subsidy removal, essentially why subsidy removal freed up more resources for states. These states have little room financially given this context, since most debts are denominated in foreign currency. So Lagos leading in electronic transfer is also leading in debt. And this is even compounded where states are unable to substantially raise internally generated revenue for other states that are struggling with that. So it's a strain and explains the minimal impact that we're seeing on citizens today, Dr. Modibo.
Well, under globalization and multiculturalism such as ours, the issue of debt burden is something that is international, is something that goes beyond the confines of Nigeria. However, my challenge here, or the challenge of this country, is on the debt profile of the states. With the withdrawal of fuel subsidy and the continuous sinking of a lot of monies from the center to the states and local governments, I wonder why the state should be engaging in this kind of debt, seeking for debt left, right, and center. Because if you look at Dr. Constance, if you look at almost every governor is commending the president for giving out so much money. They've been able to get allocation 3 or 4 times more than they used to get. And look at this, even with this electronic transfer levy, stamp duties, they are getting monies left, right, and center. I don't know where they're taking these monies to. For God's sake, how can we be having these debts with all these monies accruing into the accounts of the state governments? I think the federal government or the state government have to be introspective of their financial spendings and to justify all these debts and what have you. Because some of them, we don't see them, there's no justification. I cannot see anything coming up to justify this huge debt in spite of all the monies coming from the center. So it's a very unfortunate development that we need to look inwards and to search our conscience in trying to build an egalitarian society where peace, progress, and prosperity will prosper.
All right, let's stay with the Punch. One more story there. At the bottom, EFCC arrests 93 suspects for internet fraud in Ogun State. That story also features in Daily Trust, if we can pull that up, but with a slightly different headline. There it says, Obasanjo Library threatens EFCC with lawsuit over raid on facility. The story is that these 93 suspects were arrested at the Green Legacy Hotel, located in the premises of the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta. Following credible intelligence, the AFCC says they will be charged to court. But the library condemned the manner of the operation, said to be primitive. It was reported that the AFCC shot sporadically and threatened to kill people. Some sustained injuries while scampering for safety. This is not the first time the EFCC is accused of using Gestapo style in its operations. In fact, it often does that during sting operations or even normal arrests. So while the library is free to file a lawsuit, that this 93 suspect is a lot. So it also underscores the level of internet crime that's going on in the country, Charles.
First of all, the business, in quotes, of internet fraud seems to be thriving here in Nigeria. Over the years, there have been several raids by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, but apparently it seems as if the thing isn't gathering momentum. Do you know, Dr. Constance, that actually there is an association of mothers of Yahoo boys? That there was a time some of these young men were arrested and they actually staged a public protest. So it's as if the thing is actually becoming acceptable, particularly among the much younger generations. And there was a point at which I had to live down the embarrassment of one of my own nephews actually being involved in internet fraud.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. And apparently the EFCC is trying to do much. But, well, it seems like a drop in the ocean. I do remember that a young Nigerian who actually made it into the Forbes rich list,
Yes.
Invictus Obi, was an internet fraudster. And you know, he had actually amassed a following, being on the global rich list. For many of our young people, it's a creative, even though a criminal way of getting rich, making it big, making it in life. So it's a problem that has to be tackled at the roots. Arresting apparently is not doing much to stop the trend.
But Charles, you know, no doubt with what you're saying, all those facts are true. But I think what's more important in this actual report is how it is being done, how these people are being brought to book. I think this lawsuit is a good thing because so many people have either been badly injured or, you know, lost their lives. I remember there was a story some months ago, or was it late last year, where a doctor lost his life because of the way that there was an EFCC raid and his life was what he ended up losing.
And that raid was actually an unauthorized raid and had nothing to do with internet fraud, unfortunately. And as for the raid on the Obasanjo presidential library, you know, the management of the OOPL has been talking tough, threatening to drag the EFCC to court. And I'm very sure they're going to do it because I do know the managing director of OOPL personally. He doesn't make empty threats.
All right, we'll see more on that internet fraud issue. Let's see Daily Sun. Digital breaches push bank account theft risk up to 56%. This is said to be a silent crisis as incidents of unauthorized withdrawals and account compromises have reached high levels. According to this report, this exposes deep vulnerabilities in banks' security infrastructure. Some wake up to discover their savings have been wiped out, even after alerting their banks of misplaced cards or suspicious activities. Well, this is a serious problem. Over the weekend, it was reported actually that the police secured the conviction of 21 foreign nationals involved in cybercrime. We just saw that report from Ogunov. We just discussed that on the arrest of suspected internet fraudsters. So this is a real problem, not only in Nigeria, but across the world. And the banks just have to step up their security infrastructure if they want to retain confidence. Yeah, Dr. Modibo, any thoughts on that?
Yes, I think the banks have to step up their ante with a view to looking inwards and also trying to explore other avenues of trying to checkmate all these problems. Could you believe that these internet fraudsters, especially within that Ogun axis and this thing, is becoming a very famous something that you see young boys don't even like going to school again. You know, they want fast money.
Yes.
And could you believe that, Dr. Constance, there are some states in this country where they have a school of fraudsters. They teach them how to manipulate the computers and everything, you know, and it's becoming a serious problem on Nigeria.
Dr. Modibo, those schools are all over the place. I'm very sure in every city in Nigeria, you'll find a school for internet fraudsters. That I can bet on.
Yes. So you see, the danger here is the image of Nigeria. How do people look at Nigeria and Nigerians? So with these internet fraudsters, we are in serious danger. We thought technology should have been something that will add value to our own perception of life and to explore other avenues of, you know, making the country great. But regrettably, this is what is happening in Nigeria with our youngsters trying to get money very fast, especially withdrawing from banks. Your account, you know, they will just call you and tell you, so, we are sending this money for you. What is your... They already have the technology and the wherewithal, that criminal tendency, which is not good for this country.
In fact, that weekend story which we carried of the conviction of 21 foreign nationals, the IG of police was saying that they want to make it clear that Nigeria will not be a safe haven, because what is happening is that foreign nationals, he mentioned Chinese, Malaysian, Filipinos, they come into Nigeria, they're doing this and recruiting Nigerians as collaborators. So a lot of work for them to do. Time is fast spent. Let's see also Daily Sun again. There's a story there, 2027 Jonathan Peter Obi split PDP. Let's pair that with another story in Vanguard newspaper where the Middle Belt Forum is vouching for Peter Obi. It says Peter Obi has integrity. He'll keep his one-term promise. I mean, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who was likely seen as a problematic individual due to his presidential ambition, has left the People's Democratic Party, but the party now seems to be split again between former President Goodluck Jonathan and Mr. Peter Obi, who is being wooed to rejoin the party. Bauchi Governor Bala Mohammed, we were hearing, is set to be spearheading the return of Jonathan, while the young and other influential members want Peter Obi. I don't know, Charles, what do you make of this? Very quickly, very quickly.
Now, I'm wondering which of the two parties these two gentlemen are being touted for. Is it the ADC or is it the PDP?
No, the PDP.
Oh, exactly, that's the point, because I know that Peter Obi did hobnob with the ADC not long ago. They were actually considering him for the presidential candidate. So, of course, he's like the beautiful bride being courted by two parties, the PDP and the ADC. And now former President Goodluck Jonathan appears to be in the mix, and then the People's Democratic Party seems to be confused. So I'll have a suggestion. ADC, take Peter Obi. PDP, take Goodluck Jonathan.
The thing is,
if I can just step in quickly, Dr. Constance. You see, there's confusion now in PDP. With Atiku's exit, there is a window of opportunity that has been opened. Now, there's confusion as to who is going to be their flag bearer. Peter Obi has credibility and he has a mass followership, especially among the youth. Dr. Goodluck Jonathan had a track record. He was the former president one time, and he has done very well for this country. Nigerians were not complaining of hunger, or were they dying on the streets as it is. So today, there is confusion in PDP. With the exit of Atiku Abubakar to ADC, even if the door is closed, at least the window opportunity of these two coming in.
We have to move on. Yeah. Well, very quickly, to Charles's point, ADC has been overtaken by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. He is the main person there. I think the structures there have been overtaken by his people. So I think there's little room for Mr. Peter to be there. And where we have to go, Abuja Enquirer, Atiku Falana kick at core members who is denied a discharge certificate. This was the same youth corps member, Rita Uguamaye, who became popular for criticizing the government for its economic policies, calling President Tinubu a terrible leader. Leadership newspaper also has it, if we can pull that up. It says here, NYSC, Atiku others disagree over corps member service extension. In some reports, Ruth was accused of missing her clearance or being absent for that exercise. She denies it in this leadership report. Yolanda, very quickly, this is a needless controversy. The National Youth Service Corps just needs to deal with it right away.
Absolutely. It's such a controversy, and unfortunately Nigeria seems to be happening to this young lady. You know, on the face of it, they're saying that she really did not submit certain documentation or go through certain biometrics, something like that. So that's the reason why the certificate is being held back. But I think the writing is on the wall and clear to see for everyone. It's a very unfortunate situation.
Yeah, definitely. International papers this morning, Daybreak. Sorry.
That's the show.
Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic this morning. I mean, they're talking about here the burial of those who died in that helicopter crash. Mortala and others laid to rest. The government received the confirmation of their identities based on forensic results. Again, may their souls rest in peace. Financial Times, Europeans press Washington to turn sanction screw on Putin before talks. This is seen as a way to pressure Vladimir Putin to cave in and to shape the outcome of that meeting, which will be held in Alaska. While the U.S. Vice President sees this as a major breakthrough, the Europeans wait with bated breath as they've been dealing with Putin much longer. And then finally, to our newspaper, UK calls for halt to path of destruction as Netanyahu insists Gaza City plan will end war. I mean, the UK, France, Denmark, and Greece, Slovenia, more European countries stepping up to condemn this plan of expansion into Gaza. In fact, Australia this morning, we carry that story, is also going to recognize the state of Palestine. As long as the US is solidly behind Israel, I think there's little hope that Netanyahu will change course. Yolanda, very briefly.
He's very adamant. He's
Yeah.
very adamant. I don't think he's changing course anytime soon. But what stands up the most for me is the humanitarian concerns that are on ground. So far, we had news last night that 4 journalists from Al Jazeera were killed, and this is not the first time we are hearing this type of breach. You know, the starvations that have been going on, the food being held back, the trucks that are carrying the aid that is needed, both health and food. It's such a destruction that is going on, and Netanyahu seems to be pushing forward. He is saying he is going to take over Gaza City no matter what. So it's quite unfortunate, but we also have to wait and see how it continues to unfold.
Thank you so much. We'll have to leave it there. Dr. Ibrahim Modibo, who is a media executive and analyst. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
And it's been a pleasure having you lead today's newspaper review, Dr. Constance Ikoku. That's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Charles Eruka. It's goodbye from me.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.